Oh, solo mio. Oh, solo mio. Hey, there's a sound test. I gotta do a sound test at the beginning just to make sure that I have an ability to broadcast audio through the friggin' world. Hey, I'm Eric. I'm making a game. It's called the Godkiller. I'm gonna start out with a demo. I'm gonna do something different on this session than normal. I'm gonna draw. I'm gonna draw on my iPad. Okay, I've got reasons to do that. So let me demo by way of explaining what my work is today. Okay. So here you see a level called Delete Me 1, meaning I'm just going to delete it at some point. This is kind of a garbage screwing around level. And there's one character that I just plopped down here just now. He's called a heavy. Just call him a heavy. And this is not the model I want to use for the heavy. The heavy should be a kind of a big lumbering thing. It's just a placeholder model that I used when I was programming it. So I'm going to play against this guy, the heavy. I'll demo that. Hopefully it works. I haven't actually done anything with the heavy in a long time. It's a good chance he doesn't work. Okay. So you can see he doesn't have any animation associated with him. He just kind of rotates towards you. Let's see, what was the deal with the heavy? Right now he's acting exactly like a brawler, so I suspect maybe I've got a script wrong. So he's supposed to be unpushable, but he's clearly pushable. So let me double check what's going on with him. Okay, Mr. Heavy. Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, he was acting like a brawler because I had the wrong class assigned to him. So now he may act a little bit different. Nervous all the time about things breaking and not working for random reasons that have nothing to do with my code. There, I can't push him. So the brawlers, I can push them. This guy, I can only just sort of get out of his way or lead him to where I want him to be that won't be as annoying for me. So I think he will die on the spikes. Yeah. So not only can I not push him, it doesn't even allow me to take a step in order to do it. So me pushing north doesn't take any kind of step. It's like it just cancels my action altogether. Okay, so What's the drawing part that I'm talking about? The heavy and these two guys have got me trapped. The heavy in front of these guys makes them invincible to me. Or yeah. So yeah, I like this heavy guy as a game element. Yeah, that old thing. Okay. So the drawing part. There is a guy named Isaac, or Isak, I think it's Isak, who created this model here, and also created this model here. And these are for purchase on the Unity Asset Store. So I took some assets that are available to everybody and reused them in my game, and I like them a lot. There's little things like Isaac's hands, not Isaac, Henry's hands are a little bit extra large, so it's got like a slightly cartoonish look to it, but that's right for my game. So I very much like Isaac's style, and I've made arrangements with him to create some more models for me. It's early in our business relationship, and there's always a chance that things don't go right for us, but so far I'm very encouraged speaking with Isaac. So the next thing for me to give him is concept art for one model for him to create, and I should take some care not to talk about our business relationship too much. That's private information, but I will show you my process as I create some concept art, just a quick sketch to send off to Isaac so he can do his magic and create a 3D model in the same style as the other two that are actually permanent art for me, whereas this over here is just placeholder art. Okay, so let me turn off AirPlay on that device. Then I'll go to my special iPad view. And the iPad is what I use for drawing. I've actually done many projects with the iPad. It's not just like it's not just that it's like a convenient little device that you carry around that makes it good for art. It's this here, I'll switch to head view temporarily here. So it's this Apple Pencil, where you take the pencil and you draw right on it. It's way better than a touch tablet or a drawing tablet that you would have separate from the monitor, because you get to the point where your pen touches the surface is actually the point where you see the ink or paint or whatever you're doing appear. So it's just like way better as an input device than most anything else. I suppose there might be some high-end monitor tablets that might be better. I've heard good things about. Never mind. Let's just get on with this. So I'm going to start up Procreate, and I want to get this broadcasting. So let's do that. do my screen mirror. And alright. So now you're seeing what I see, but let me resize it just a little bit. Pretty cool, huh? Alright, open up Procreate. A whole bunch of other art I've done. Here's the artwork I did for an animation, which you can find on my YouTube channel. I was playing a lot at one point with like two-dimensional figures that would sort of look like the safety figures that you see on signs and stuff. Anyways, I got tired of them. I decided they weren't that good for animation. I'm digressing a bit, but it doesn't take too long to show you. So if you like some of these drawings that you're seeing, these characters are featured in animations that are on my YouTube channel, but they're way down at the bottom. So you have to scroll past all of these more recent videos for the Godkiller, and down at the bottom you'll see some characters. Let's see. Here's a fun thing to do. Replaying some drawing. This character is named Cindy Mathers. I'm going to get back to my game stuff after this. I just thought maybe I would share just a little bit. And this is a full facial rig for animation. Or by the time this little animation completes, it is that. Right now it's all one face, but then I split it out into multiple expressions, and I take the lids and make them one part. Oh, if Digital Zombie watches this, here's all the visemes for the mouth there I did in 2D. They're following Preston Blair visemes, which are pretty common. Oh, I see an ant walking on the outside of my house coming towards my screen. I gotta close my window. Oh, I know what I should be showing instead of this. I did the same thing for M, the main character of my game. So anyways, that's Cindy, who has nothing to do with this game. Let me see. Do I got M in here? M should be in here. It's weirding me out that I don't see her. Oh, here we go. Yeah. So M's in here. I think I could probably do the same sort of thing. She's a pretty good example of me departing from my sketch as I polished her up. So this is the two-dimensional face that is displayed next to your player-controlled character when the character is speaking. Oh, wait, is something else happening elsewhere? Yeah, I started... Yeah, so I have like these different emotions: neutral, confused, sad, afraid, evil, suspicious, amused, happy, thinking, angry, irritated. So I found after doing some different animations that those were a good set to use. And then I have the mouth parts over here for talking. So basically, when the mouth is at rest, I let it use the mouth that is assigned to the emotion or mood that the character is in. But when the character is talking, I have the visine mouthpiece go over the top of the mouth. All right. So most of these moods, I would take the first face that I did, the neutral one, and just kind of stretch with a tool that moves the positions of pixels around. And then after I was done stretching it to get it kind of close, then I would clean up all the lines to make it look better. So that's just a time-lapse replay of all the drawing I did, and I think it's doing something like 1 minute equals 1 second, something like about that scale, because I can see the whole thing is maybe let's see, where is it going there? Oh, I came off to the right to draw these guys. Yeah, these are the hardest to do, actually. Because not only do you have to get them so that they match the visemes, so that they're recognizable as L or M. You also have to have them scaled correctly for the character's face and fit whatever style that you want the character's face to have. So I'm hoping when I start getting a whole bunch of characters, there will be some basic mouth types I can just reuse, because they take so long to make these. Well, not so long, but the whole thing here is coming to about 5 minutes, this time lapse we replayed, and I'm guessing it probably took me 5 hours to do the whole thing. I'm guessing they're just doing 1 second equals 1 minute in their time lapse. That sounds about right. I think I did spend about 5 hours on this. So most of one day I spent most of 1 8-hour shift in a day. I keep on thinking of a day as like a shift. There's obviously 24 hours in a day, but it feels like there's only 8. Anyways, it took me a while. Done with that. Let's do new. Okay. So I don't want to get too complicated here. The models in the game are low poly. So I could try to put all kinds of expression in a face, and not only are they low poly, but just going back to the work screen for a moment. They're small, they're far away, and they're top-down view. So there's no point in me sending concept art to Isak that focuses on, you know, a lot of personality in the face. It's all got to be all quick in the body type stuff. Okay, so if I say, you know, here's one square, I think the personality that does go with the heavy though is he's not malicious. He's kind of like a not friendly, but you know, the bouncer who's just kind of a big brute, and he's just sort of got like a dullness to him. And, you know, he checks your ID going into the club, and if you've got any kind of like nonsense, you know, he just sort of shrugs it off. If you try to pay him a compliment, he doesn't care. He's not mad at you either. If you cross the line, you know, he'll do something. He's that kind of guy. That's who the heavy is. And he's got to be large. He should take up like all of the square. So as far as the game goes, he is occupying one square, but visually I would like him to seem like he barely fits inside that square. I will have to kind of squeeze him in a little bit though, because if there's two heavies, it's possible for there to be one right next to him. I don't want their arms to start going through each other. So he should contain inside of the square, but just barely. Okay, so top-down view. Do I want him to be fat or just large? Just playing with a few designs here. And they got to be simple because he's so small, right? He's just so small. It might be good for him to be fat. Maybe like that. He shouldn't look energetic. Okay, that's one kind of body where it's just sort of lumpy. Big giant lumpy thing. I kind of like that because it makes him seem like not violent, but also like if you hit him or something, it would just be like nothing. Just you bury your fist in his flesh and he's not perturbed. Okay, so I'm gonna make like just something in between a pure humanoid body and a lump, and try to kind of get a little more form to him. I think I gotta get loose on this. I gotta get loose. Meaning I gotta just draw a bunch of crap and not worry too much about it being right. So let me see. Let's clear. All right. Leaning forward a little bit. And go the opposite way. Let's lean back. That's kind of interesting. So, a posture I kind of like, the second one. I can make his hands really huge if I want. Now it's more easy for me to draw something quick like this if I do it from a side view or than the actual view from the game, which is a top-down view. So whatever I like from the side view, I have to consider again what it's going to look like from the top-down view. Get rid of this guy. I don't like him that much. Let me just see what does this guy look like if I do top-down. I think it would be something kind of like that. Then his shoulders are like another kind of circle, a little bit smaller, just a tiny bit smaller than his belly. He's got two shoulder parts over here. His arms will go out to the side like that. Oh, that's the thing too. It's like okay. So if I got his arms being particularly expressive and sticking out to the side in this posture that I like, it means that the space that I have available for him to fit the main part of his body inside of the square is going to be smaller, because I need him to fit inside of one square. Okay, and this thing that I did with his legs coming back at that angle, it looks cool from the side, but from up top, all it does is put his legs underneath him more. Now, at least from this point of view, because one thing is that the camera, here, I'll go back to my work screen over here. So the camera, oh, it's not live because I got the iPad hooked up. Okay, the camera doesn't look straight down on anybody except the player-controlled character. And other things, they will be a little bit off center of camera, and as they get further away from the main character, you do get to see more of them at an angle instead of straight down. So maybe if the camera is in one position, I don't see his legs very much. But if the camera was positioned, say, north of the same guy, then his body's a little bit different. It's more like legs coming back a little. Okay. I also know that if I send Isak concept art where it's straight down, it's kind of like the worst way to communicate what the character should look like. So yeah, I am thinking this first design that I did here, it was actually maybe the third or the fourth, but it actually has some strength to it. And maybe I'll just clean it up a little bit. I think like the big hands I might save for a different character though. One thing about the giant hands is that they kind of imply that his hands are particularly threatening. So if I just make them a little more restrained looking, that's probably better. I could save the giant scary hands for another character that I've got. Okay, I've got one more thought that might be good. For the texture of this guy, imagine if he was made out of burlap. Here's why I like burlap. Burlap's got connotations to it. So it's soft. Like when you think of a burlap sack, there's like a certain softness to it, but it's not pleasant. Like it's soft because it's just a sack. You think of sacks when you think of burlap. You don't think of like a hard surface like metal. You know, you see like somebody who's made out of a shiny metal-like object. You assume that when you touch them, they feel hard and cold and certain properties. Burlap, it's chock full of connotations. You think of softness, but you don't think of something that's clean. No, it's like somebody hands you a burlap sack. It seems like the outside of it's probably dirty. You're not totally convinced that what's inside of it is going to be good. I mean, you go to a grocery store, they don't sell you vegetable in burlap sacks. It would be bad marketing if they did. So I'm really liking the idea that this guy, he's just made out of burlap with some mystery about what his innards are, but burlap. Okay. Let me clean up the top of him a little bit. So I think I'd like to give him some really big eyes that can be visible, but maybe like ski mask eyes, like goggles. More. Alright, so I'm looking back to my screen over here, and I'm noticing that it is possible to see fingers from a long distance away like this, and that's not too hard. So I think I will add some fingers for the guy. I'm trying really hard not to make him too complicated because, again, it's going to be such a small model. And also, this is like a new relationship I have with this other artist, and I don't want to start off on the wrong foot. I don't want to be like a very exacting customer. I want to give Isak some freedom to to add his own touches to it. If I try to be the genius and have everything happen in the concept art and just have him stick to the concept art, whatever good ideas Isak has, I'll lose them. So I think I'm just going to try to clean this up a little bit. And alright, thinking about the eyes a little bit more. Maybe let's make them separate. And we could give the guy a mouth. It's not going to hurt anything, even if we don't see it. Just give him a sad little mouth. Maybe a little more stoic. This is the kind of detail that does not matter at all. I don't think it does anyways. Just a little sad mouth. There we go. And then just, I guess I'll clean up this line weight just a little bit. Okay, so, might be nice to have just like a little button here. All right, let me colorize it. Well, before I do that. So I want to kind of show this clearly. So let me do a few different views of the guy. I don't like the, you know, I don't like the button. I'm just going to take that off. Let me draw M right next to him. Just as a kind of a comparison point. This is the size of M. But Isak would know this character by Yasmin. Heavy. Alright, so then let's add a little bit of color. Where? I thought it was a multiply here. Oh, it's right up to the top. Okay, cool. Coloring is fun. Everyone should color. Not just little kids. Okay, what color are his eyes? I could make them yellow. Can't make them red. Red is a reserved color. It's for M, and M alone to be red. So let me just try pale yellow. Alright, let's see if I can simulate burlap. Gotta go the opposite way to crosshatch. Get a little color variation. I don't know if that looks a lot like burlap, but I'll also send him I will also send him just like an example texture, which I can generate too. I can probably find that and generate it. So that's pretty good. I think that's the basics of what I want. Okay, next I'm going to send him a burlap texture, and I'm actually going to see if I can generate the texture myself right in this session. So let me stop drawing. Then we go to work screen and reshare the work screen. So here's what I was talking about, but I couldn't easily show it, is that, okay, the straight down view like this, only the player will end up having that viewpoint. Everything else is kind of off to the side. So when something's further off to the side, it's got more of the rest of its body shown. If I move this off over here, you see like more of his body as opposed to that straight down view. But if it gets closer to the camera, then you see less of his body. You just see the top part of him. And then it goes the other way too. Like, you know, you can end up checking out his butt if he's way off on the left side of the screen from the camera. Okay. So let me see. I've got a really cool app. So I can find it. Forgot what it's called. Is it only on my old computer? That's probably the case. Probably. Okay. I just say burlap. So this is what burlap looks like. There was another creature that I think was made out of burlap. What was it? Little Big Planet? Yeah, this guy. Yeah, he's more like a yarn type of a guy. So sometimes it's good not to over-specify. When you're working with somebody else who's creative. I was thinking I would send him a texture. I probably will, but I'll have to leave a note like, you could try this, but you may find better results with something else, and I'm open-minded. That's the kind of thing I like to do, because otherwise, if I say, oh, it's got to be burlap, and by the way, here's this texture that you should use, then that's all I'll get. I'll get my idea echoed back to me, and it will not have any opportunity for it to be enhanced or maybe overridden with something better from Isak. So I might send him some samples. But I have to be a little bit careful to be clear that, you know, it's not like it needs to be one thing. So yeah. Okay, so I'm going to put all this stuff together next to send off to Isak, and that's going to get into our business relationship, which is a private thing that shouldn't be shared on a stream. So I'm going to stop the stream so I can send this off to Isak and make my progress every day. And if you've joined me or you enjoyed watching this, it makes me happy. I'm glad. And come back again and watch something else. Maybe stop in on the stream on Twitch and say hi. Or if you want to lurk on the stream and not be bothered by me while you're lurking, you can do that too. Or if you don't want to watch anything I do ever again, that's also an option. And if you haven't seen this video or watched a stream with me in it saying this, then I don't expect you to respond to this message at all, because you just wouldn't have heard it. So I think I've covered all the possible options for how you might interact with me and my output in the future. Stopping the stream right